Hello everyone, this is Jesse with the Alpha Strike Battle Report here for War Machine Hordes. This week was Kevin playing Legion and myself, Jesse, playing Retribution. So the main functions of a list, the Legion list is to use the Chosen as a brick to have to chew through, and then Kallus' feet to make those into incubi, furthering the issue of that big brick. And the Retribution list is mainly just something I want to mess around with Rahn and the battle mages, because I have them and I didn't think any other use for them. So going into deployment here, Kevin is already deployed and I'm starting my initial deployment here. We have been doing our deployments off clock with our new factions, but we will be going to on clock in the future. So I'm trying to do a very symmetrical deployment here, just to make sure that I don't mess something up beyond repair with a new list and new faction that we're working on. So you can see that I have battle mages spread out throughout the deployment zone, Trident in the middle, and Rahn pretty close there to head towards the middle of the table. So I'm just looking up some rules here and getting some tokens, because I'm not quite sure what everything does quite yet. And Kevin's getting out his tokens here. One of the main things I saw with Rahn is a lot of people like to play him with only a assassination in mind, but I thought he might be a very strong scenario piece as well. So I want to see if I could leverage that as a strength to scare people into the assassination, and then just try to play for scenario if possible. So we'll see how the game goes here. You can see Alara there at the bottom, towards the bottom of the screen, with her Aspis, or Gorgon rather, sorry. And here I am gluing back on some bits that have fallen off while Kevin's getting his tokens out. We've taken some feedback from videos that we've had in the past and wanted to run stuff at 1.5 speed just to try to shorten up the videos on YouTube, which I totally understand. Watching battle reports myself, that is a good thing to do. I personally like the commentary, not the commentary, sorry, the on table camaraderie or back and forth between players, but I can understand how that gets a little bit outshadowed by the length of the video, especially on those ones that go the full length there. So I think this is a good alternative. Unfortunately, it's a little hard with all of our schedules right now to play the games and both of us be available for the commentary, but in the future that is something we're really hoping to be able to get done as well. I like the setup where both of the players can feed off each other back and forth while watching the battle report together. So that is going to be the method that we want to aim for in the future. So here's Kevin putting out his Helmels and getting ready to jump into the game, I believe. I'm just dropping Iris and we're gonna get into the game. So Legion turn 1 here. So Kevin starts out by measuring the Angelius run here, and he's thinking about how he can leverage this cloud. He's going to stand behind it because obviously I can't see through it, but he sure can with that Angelius having out of sight. So he's just looking at the rest of the stuff now, seeing where he wants to position with his speed 7 chosen. Looking at the other Angelius for a run. Place it behind the building for that sweet flight interaction with buildings. And then he's just reading up on stuff. Like I said, we were a little newer to the armies. I was a previous Legion player. Kevin came from mainly Grimkin in the most recent past, so we're just working on getting used to these new factions. Here's Kevin measuring out the run I mentioned about for the Chosen. Just gonna position them up in front. Not too worried about those getting shot by the Trident on the first turn, as he will be running up the Blightbringer here pretty soon. One thing I've noticed about Retribution is they do have a lot of tools, which is nice. Sometimes there's a lot of decisions to be made and lots of different ways to get done what you need to get done, and some of them aren't always the best and some of them are the best, so you have to weigh those options mid-game, and I like it so far. Kevin really likes the aesthetic of the Legion, which I don't know how you could not, so I get that totally. This is actually my Legion army that he is playing. We did a little trade there, having only a 3-man meta, so we try to bounce around a little bit. I have he has now an old man set of Chosen and an old lady set of Chosen, with the likes of Reginald and the leaders of the Chosen there. Now he's just running up Amok, Spell Martyrs. Looks like he's just got Kallus left, which, if you've ever played Kallus1, usually he just runs first turn because he doesn't have really anything to get out unless you have a reason to get Ignite out there first turn, but not normally. So you're going to see he's measuring out that 12-inch run there to tuck him up behind the Chosen and prepare for that next turn. Making sure his Angelius is within command, or control rather. Getting out his Fury. We play these games usually on Sunday mornings to the afternoon at Bob's house, which is great that he has that availability for us. So yep, marking over to bottom of turn 1 here, over to Retribution. So let's see what we can get done. So my main thoughts on this first turn for Retribution, which this has been a while for this game, so I hope I can remember the majority of it, but Apparition my Chimera's there. I don't want to take any unnecessary damage here, of course, so I'm going to try to stay out of that threat, the 12 inches of the Chosen, and then the 9-inch threat for the walk and melee of the Angelius, now that it's really buffed up with those changes that it got for the melees. And I just want to make sure I don't lose any of my important pieces here. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about the guns because I have to get up in the middle of the table, at least some, but I know to stay away from the Hellmouths 11.57, so make sure I don't lose any of my solos to that as well. Just thinking here for a bit. Thinking what Alara's going to do and what the next turn's going to look like. So, looking at my resources available, thinking what needs to be done. So I go ahead and position this Chimera. Looks like my positioning the Chimera to be outside of that 11.57 we mentioned earlier. And just now remembering my power-ups. Staying out of that 12-inch charge threat of the Angelius in case that could happen. Looks like we're looking at can't decide quite if I'm gonna move the Chimera next or most unit of battle mages. Looks like I'm measuring up that 12 and the 9 for the Angelius. Yep, I decided to just swing that Chimera a little wide. Not exactly sure what my reasoning was there. I think it would have been a little bit more wise to have one of the Chimeras more centrally located looking back at it, but I must have had a reasoning in the time. Force Hammer, boosted Force Hammer would be able to do a chunk of damage to the objective, but I also have that unit of battle mages there to likely help with that. One of the models I actually do really like is that the Artificers. Those are quite cool models now that I'm taking a look at all the tools that Retribution has to offer. With the Polarity Shield, I think it is, where they can't be charged, and then also being able to give immunity to blast to a unit or model, which is pretty great for what I see a lot of. So Trident's moving up, getting 2 tokens. Looks like he's going to take a couple shots. Just now remembering to roll my shots. Looks like I got 1 on the left, 3 on the right. Used up my middle one already. And that Dragon's Breath is up, so surprisingly break armor here. He heals 1 back. These would be armor 19 chosen, so dice off 6. Take a couple shots. Repo. Because that Trident will be getting the no charging Polarity Shield spell. Or Polarity Field, is it? Yeah, Polarity Shield. So just measuring out just outside of 9 on those chosen so they can't walk and hit him. I know that it's only power 13, but with the Blightbringer it could be 15, and there's just and then Ignite could be more, so 17. So there's no reason for me to give up a Trident for no reason here. So Rahn's is gonna walk up. He's gonna cast that Polarity Shield I mentioned, and stay out of the charge threat of the chosen there, and the walk-in melee threat of the Angelius. Looks like we're just walking up with the heavy now. Putting down a covering fire template. Not particularly useful here, but he's going to stay out of threat anyways, so there's no reason not to put it down. It's incidental damage at the very least, and it is not caused by an attack, so get that damage out while you can with Chosen. So these battle mages are just skirting that water because they do not have Pathfinder. Moving up to see what they can do next turn against that objective, and I'm assuming that I was going to go for the objective and maybe an angel if anything needed to be taken care of there. Try to score that zone with the Chimera. Looks like a Magister is going to move up. Nope, I'm going to be repoing. Iris back, killing a tentacle with auto 3 points, and then staying out of threat of both the Chosen and the tentacles. Artificer walks up and gives that no blast damage, which is nice for Iris being armor 12. It sucks to lose a 7-point model to incidental blast. So Alara's going to go. She's going to cast Speed of Death and then walk up to stay out of that 11.57. And here I did not remember to measure that walk and shoot threat of the angel here, so that could come back to bite me, but I'll have to wait and see. Then the Gorgon just runs up, staying out of that 12-inch threat on the angel, because that is a bad day for a Gorgon. And then the the purple battle mage is there moving up, then the white battle mage is moving up. Arcanist mechanic running up behind the trident. Then we got the arcanists just running out, and we're clocking it over. So we should be on to Legion turn 2 here. So a typical Legion, Kallus rather, turn 2 is going to be take what you can. If you can take a decent amount and be able to feat and threaten that scoring, then that's a really good feat turn for Kallus. So we'll just have to see what's available to Kevin here and see what he's able to take off and see what his decisions are. So he's plopping his tentacle back into play within command. All my stuff is out of the 1157, so he's not really looking for anything cheeky there. He's measuring that 12 inches on the angel that we talked about. Maybe there was a miscommunication on if I said that he was out, but we checked it and verified. So now he's measuring that thing that I did forget about, which would be the angel's walk and shoot. And with a boostable gun, you know, it's definitely something to be scared of with a junior. Not a significant amount of points tied up in that package with the Gorgon, but it's still not, it doesn't feel great to lose that, so we'll see what happens. So Kevin's just trying to figure out what he's going to do with the rest of his turn. He knows he's going to commit to that Alara shot. He's looking at the placement of his tentacles and if he wants to move them around on that upper side Hellmouth. He's taking a look at what he can get done with these Gray Chosen. Typically the front unit is going to be the jam unit. Measuring out that run to engage Rahn. Now he's just taking a look at the next model in that unit. Oh, I believe this is actually where he points out that he was walking, so he's not able to move that uppermost chosen into melee with Rahn yet because of the reposition. But that is the intention in the future. Measuring out another walk. I'm not exactly sure why there was a walk instead of a run, but it has been a little while since we played this game. I'm sure he would have mentioned it to me. Yep, so you can see he walked up, now he's got the repo. Guess I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but there I am reminding him if he wanted to do that engaging repo. He decided to change his mind a little bit and reposition that one. Now it looks like he's measuring the black unit of Chosen. Looks like they're going to do the same thing. I was going to say I think maybe it could be having something to do with my covering fire, but the run might not have had an issue with that because it's also movement, so you can get them around that. Huge bases are a little bit of a pain to maneuver around, but you can definitely get something done. So yeah, here he's going to be repoing that black unit up further. Certainly going to be catching all of those in his Kallus feet. Finding the leader. Doing some repos. Pop that one into the little cubby there. see what's next. So we know Kallus is going to feat here on this positioning turn. Looks like Amonk's considering a run somewhere. It's very important to focus on your Blightbringer positioning after you go for that jam and feat. Like I said before, it's hard, but usually better if you can take some off the table and feat. So a lot of times when I would play Kallus1, it would be a Dark Guidance and feat, and then charge or run, or not run, sorry, charge or walk as much as you could. And you know, it all just depends on the matchup and what you think you can get done. If you're into a heavy shooting list or even a magic list that you don't have very much protection against magic, you know, sometimes that can change things around a little bit. So we'll see what's going to happen next year. Looks like he's trying to figure out what his fury management's going to be. Considering a nuke here from his caster. Yep, looks like he's taking a peek at that spell. Checking line of sight to the middle of those battle mages. One of the things I have to say about battle mages is that their stats are interesting, to say the least. I know that they bring a specific skill to the army, but the defensive stats are quite lacking, I feel. Without any countermeasures. They have set defense, but if they're in melee, then they're not particularly happy. Yeah, so here's a scattering spell here, and it looks like I believe it was a pretty good scatter. Checking the blast damage, and this is where it comes up that could be wrong here. Maybe he's thinking about if he's going to boost or not. Sorry, like I said, this has been a bit since the game was played. I believe he takes something off the table here, but looks like he might be thinking about. He's gonna cast Ignite. Yep. Must have scattered off. He's gonna cast Ignite on the black unit chosen and pop Kallus' feet. So that is going to mean that any warrior model that dies within Kallus' 12-inch control range is going to pop an Incubi out after it does die, and that's at boxed, I believe. So get that tough check with the chosen, then you can pop an Incubi out, which is a solo. All of his soulless models gain +3 defense, Kallus being one of them, as well as the funnily enough the Hellmalice also get that. And it looks like the Blightbringer's walking up. Took a shot at the Manticore, I believe, and did some damage. I believe that would be dice off 4. Yep, and then we're checking the blast damage on the battle mages. They're just dying here. Armor 12, I believe they are, is just not good. And then no blast. No, nothing to hurt the Trident, of course, with the high defense there. Or high armor, rather, sorry. This angel is going to move about, I believe. Checking what's going to threaten it this turn. Yep, so this is going to jockey for position a little bit. Spell Martyr is going to reposition a little bit. Another Spell Martyr's repositioning. Night Angel is going to walk up, take the shot on Alara. 12-inch range. Boosting to hit. It's gonna roll pretty good. I mean, I think even with the boost there, it's pretty reliable, but definitely hit with authority. And the damage roll here is gonna be pretty bad, unfortunately. It's a 7. I believe it's POW 12, so. So we're gonna pause. Bottom of 2 for Retribution, so we should be going into Retribution turn 2 here. Yep, so we're looking at everything here. We're powering up our stuff. And this is where I'm thinking, alright, what can I get done? And what are my options? What makes me not lose next turn? And I see Kallus, he's on 2. I see the stuff I'd have to deal with really to just focus on next turn. And the Cav having, the Chosen that is, having so many attacks, it's just really hard with the basically die to anything battle mages, and he's got Dark Guidance, so I feel like he's taken off my... He's gonna get my Trident because I can't really get out of range of his stuff without being just ran over on scenario. One of the most important things I think people forget to realize with the Kallus list with the Blightbringer is that if you're within melee range of the Blightbringer at the end of your turn, that you do a decent amount of work, then that thing coming in with Dark Guidance is pretty scary with Fury 5. So definitely something you don't want to be in range of. And like I said, he could just run over my army on scenario here. So I'm looking at what I can do with Rahn's feat turn and the battle mages. Basically the reason, half the reason I brought the list. Against his army, it's not really a control kind of thing. Maybe more of a jack heavy or beast heavy. You know, you can leverage those TKs and force hammers and stuff to take those resources away. Use your battle mages to push stuff away and get them to where you want them, and then turn them around and whatnot. And kind of focus on that scenario and just dictate what your opponent gets to do is what my plan was, anyways. So here I'm looking at a slam because I can see through the Trident. Looking at a slam to try to knock down these Chosen that are in my way. Blocking line of sight to Kallus, that is. So I'm looking at that, and we got a line that we agree on that if I slam him, that white one, then he will be hitting both the black one and that white one next to him with that proxy base you can see there. So kind of just measuring out. I could go for killing the objective. My objective. Oh wait, I could just see through my objective, I guess. But I had to get some. Oh yeah, sorry. The unit of white battle mages wanted to be able to see as well, and there was just, it would have been all messy right there. So trying to just determine all my resources available. I also really want to be able to get the Trident in if the battle mages can't do the job with their boosted attack and damage rolls. And I have a decent amount of stuff on that side as far as resources to go into Kallus. He's on 2, I believe, at this point, with the Blightbringer and the Angels being able to be transferred to. So I definitely have to chew through those transfers. It's not like they're going to be wasted. So now I'm just kind of thinking, I know I have to give Ghost Walk to the purple unit of battle mages here on the bottom of the screen, just so they can get through that rubble without any issues. The 7 here is going to be, oh yeah, that's right, this is an Iris shot. I forgot about that. An Iris shot that takes that Fury off. It just changes the math, of course, in my favor. This Arcanist mechanic walks up and gives it focus to the Manticore in case he needs to do some work in the future. Those are just 2, extra shots that I can use. So Rahn walks up behind the Trident. He's going to feat. He's going to Force Hammer. He's auto boosted from his feet because it's a magic attack, and he gets +2 range. He is going to hit. Oh, sorry, I TK him first. Yep, I TK him first so I can make sure that the I don't have to worry about the distance that I roll on the Force Hammer. Then he's going to cast that Force Hammer, which will hit. I get 2, so good thing I did that. He's going to knock down those guys. There's a little bit of a model movement there, but we agreed upon originally that those guys would be knocked down, and there's no issues there. So Rahn's going to do that. He's rolling the damage on the Chosen that was slammed. He gets 4 because it is boosted, and he gets an additional die because it hit the same size base. So he's going to do a little bit there, and then he's going to heal back up. And then I don't know if I even... that was the roll on the Black Chosen there that was slammed into. That's a 12, and he's going to heal 3. Yep. And then the other one, I believe, just doesn't take any. Yep. Might take a little bit. Yep, he's going to take 1. Took 3, healed 2. So, I believe that concludes my Rahn turn. I think I'm contemplating that at this point. I'm trying to decide what else I need to do with him before I can move on to the rest of my army. There I'm measuring the 5-inch shooting gallery for the Trident, and it's not in. There's no place I can fit a huge base there to get that. Obviously, I am considering that I should have Kallus moved around by then from my battle mages and the Rahn feat, but it's always important to have backups when dice don't go your way. So let's see what we move to next. I believe it's going to be the Alara and then purple unit of battle mages. Yep. So Alara's going to activate cast Ghost Walk, which is a new spell she has from the CID, which is fantastic for her. Really good in defenders, just giving those, the 2 units that don't have Pathfinder that you really want them to have, the Risavos defenders and the House Elaware Swordsman is great. Yep, so this purple unit of battle mages is going to be walking up. They have Ghost Walk, so they don't have to worry about that rubble. I got, I think, 5 in and 1 out here with the +2 range from Rahn. So first one's gonna go, and Kallus is high defense here because he gets his own feat defense, which is great for him. So I think I get the, yep. One of the reasons I like the Magister, they give that +1. I think they have a veteran leader. Let me double check that. Yep, so they give veteran leader Child Trooper, which is going to be for the battle mages. Battle mages are going to be throwing out some attacks here. House Child battle mages, they're using that Force Bolt. First one misses, second one is going to hit with a crit, which is going to knock down Kallus here, move him, and then he's going to do a chunk of damage. Also going to hit again. And Kevin, I believe, is just checking his defensive stats here because he was getting the buff from the Blightbringer. Now he's not because I'm pulling him out of it. So that's going to be a decent roll there for damage. I think I still have 2 battle mages here. One's going to hit, do a good chunk of damage. And then another one's going to hit and do nothing, or one damage. The Gorgon's going to activate here, knock down Kallus. It's going to walk up because he wasn't quite within aiming range. Not snakes to hit. He's going to hit. This is like a dice off 5, so that's going to do 8, which is enough to kill Kallus with the Gorgon. So You're going to see the handshake here, and that is going to be a assassination win for Rahn. So just thinking about the debrief here, we're looking at two lists that want to do different things, and both of us as players are just looking at the factions, kind of not really for the first time, but really diving deep into them for the first time. So we talked after the game about what we would do to change our lists, and I basically kind of decided that I'm not going to play Rahn for a bit while everybody else is trying to figure out what they're doing for the next year. He's fun. I do like his toolbox. I love the Polarity Shield spell on the Trident because of the native armor, which is great. But I want to make sure that my whole team doesn't, play group doesn't have a negative play experience, and I could see that having to tech for Rahn is going to do that. Bob playing Protectorate, helps him out because there's a lot of anti-spell there. But yeah, it was kind of something that we decided that I'm just not going to do that moving forward. I will revisit Rahn because I think he's a really fun and interesting caster, and Kallus1, Kevin and I are working on fine-tuning his list for him. I was playing double Chosen, double Rotwings, and only a Blightbringer Harrier. With the Blight Archon coming out, though, Kevin's made some changes to his list, which I think the Blight Archon could be something that is really interesting there. But the importance of the Rotwings is just so huge for Kallus' feat, for Dark Guidance with the finishers and stuff. So it's kind of in the testing phases still. So we're going to see where that leads in the future, and hopefully Kevin's happy with his list at the end of all of that, and I'm just gonna take a look at some more Retribution stuff and see what I can find. But anyways, thanks for watching the battle report, and I hope that you enjoy the content, and we're working on making it better and better every time we can, listening to the feedback that we do get from YouTube, and I do post on Facebook sometimes in the groups that we are posting videos for. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed, and thanks for coming.